Disclaimer: the information contained in this channel is for general information purposes only. The news content is provided by ACEN PH and its content provider partners, and while we endeavor to keep the information up to date and correct, we make no representations or warranties of any kind, express or implied, about the completeness, accuracy, reliability, suitability or availability with respect to the website or the information.
AP News: Aboitiz Power Unit switches on Tiwa Binary Plant. Tiwa, AP Renewables Inc. APRI, a subsidiary of listed Aboitiz Power Corp., broke ground on its 17 megawatt MW binary geothermal plant here in this town in Albay, furthering the aggressive push towards renewable energy. The binary plant is being constructed within the site of the Tiwa Geothermal Facility, the country's first geothermal plant. APRI is targeting to complete its construction by end 2023. The plant facility will be built from the ground up with an entirely new binary plant system, pipes and transmission line. It also has no emissions into the environment as its binary fluid operates in a closed-loop system. Geothermal energy, a form of renewable energy, comes from the Earth's heat and is produced by drilling production wells into the ground to tap high-temperature fluids from geothermal reservoirs. Residual heat from the hot brine side of the geothermal production process, otherwise unutilized before re-injecting back to the Earth, is harvested to produce electricity through the binary geothermal power plant, it explained. APRI mentioned earlier the concept of recovering heat from the geothermal brine and converting it into electricity as a novel solution that improves its overall thermal efficiency. The Tiwa Binary Power Plant is a facility designed to extract the recoverable heat from the geothermal brine that is processed in a closed-loop system where no harmful gas or liquid is being emitted nor any waste products are discharged to the atmosphere, said APRI President and COO Jeffrey Estrella. This is as much of an achievement for Aboitiz Power as it is for our partners, especially the good folks from Ormat Technologies, DESCO, and our friends from the Philippine Geothermal Production Company PGPC. Aboitiz Power Chief Renewables Officer Jimmy Villamoran said. The binary plant will inject another 17 megawatts of cleaner energy into the Luzon grid, added Estrella. For APRI's parent firm Aboitiz Power, this will further its aspiration of building an additional 3,700 megawatts of renewables or 3 times its current renewables portfolio by 2030 and strike a 50-50 balance between its renewable and thermal capacities. Aboitiz Power had disclosed more than 1,000 MW of disclosed and ongoing RE projects, including solar, floating solar, hydro and onshore wind. It was exploring various fundraising activities to bankroll RE projects in the pipeline. ACEN News: ACEN says Vietnam wind farm project with BIM Group gets $107 million financing boost. ACEN Corp and the BIM Group's Vietnam wind farm received financing worth $107 million, the Ayala-led energy platform said on Wednesday. The two firms' joint venture recently announced the development of the 88 megawatts Ninh Thuan wind farm located in south-central Vietnam. It received the financing package from the Asian Development Bank, ADB, and parallel lenders, ACEN told the stock exchange. ACEN said the financing was arranged and syndicated by ADB, with the lending group comprised of ADB, Japan International Cooperation Agency (JICA), Hong Kong Mortgage Corp Limited, Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corp., Ing Bank and Cathay United Bank. This major boost on our wind farms financing from Asia and the Pacific's Climate Bank and ACEN's long-standing financing partner, ADB, and our other parallel lenders will help catalyze renewable energy buildup capacity by 2030, ACEN International CEO Patrice Claus said. It sends an important message to the market to scale up climate-resilient investments with sufficient speed to help deliver our respective net zero goals, Klaus added. ACEN said the ADB would give the Ninh Thuan wind farm an additional $5 million grant from the Goldman Sachs and Bloomberg Philanthropies-backed Climate Innovation and Development Fund. Ninh Thuan wind farm is expected to produce 339 gigawatt-hours of renewable energy per year and help avoid 215,000 tons of CO2 emissions annually, ACEN said. Converge News. Converge allots P3 billion for infrastructure projects. Philippines. Broadband provider Converge ICT Solutions Inc. has saved up a portion or P2.64 billion from the proceeds of a recent bond issuance that it can use to finance its menu of infrastructure projects for this year. In a regulatory filing, Converge informed the Philippine Stock Exchange that it has disbursed 73%, or P7.21 billion, of the P9.85 billion in net proceeds it raised from the recent fundraising activity. Converge spent P2.26 billion of the net proceeds in the second quarter of last year, P2.66 billion in the third quarter and P2.29 billion in the fourth quarter. Broken down, Converge utilized P5.46 billion for capital expenditures and another P1.76 billion for general corporate purposes. In 2022, Converge allocated up to P23 billion for capex as it moved to expand its network coverage nationwide. All disbursements considered, Converge is left with a balance of P2.64 billion. P2.42 billion for capex and P213.48 million for general corporate purposes, from its bond issuance. In an interview with The Star, Converge founder and CEO Dennis Uy said that Converge seeks to accelerate its network expansion to cover at least 55% of households by 2023. Definitely, we are on track to reaching 55% of households by 2023, or 2 years ahead of the target we set during the initial public offering. In 2023, we will continue our expansion prudently and make sure to tap key markets in new service areas. North Luzon and Visayas and Mindanao remain to be very strong contributors, Uy said. Before 2022 ended, Converge started servicing new areas in Mindanao, namely, Digos, Davao del Sur, Moncayo, Davao de Oro and Sarangani. We have front-loaded investments on our digital infrastructure and it is in place. Our backbone connecting all the major islands is laid out that we can expand into key provinces, municipalities and cities, Uy said. For 2023, Converge plans to cut its capex in line with industry trends, especially as it tries to maximize for the meantime the fiber ports it acquired in the past years. As such, the internet provider plans to reduce its capex to below the 2022 guidance of P21 billion to P23 billion. Last year, Converge succeeded in its maiden issuance of fixed-rate bonds, raising P10 billion from the domestic market due to strong investor demand. Globe News. Globe says 16.5 billion pesos released for capex, loan repayments. Globe Telecom, Inc. on Tuesday said it has used 16.46 billion pesos for capital expenditures, capex, and loan repayments from the net proceeds of the company's stock rights offering. As of December 31, the balance of the proceeds was pesos 279.68 million, the company said in a regulatory filing. Based on its disbursement report, Globe has released P6.7 billion for loan repayments and pesos 9.76 billion for capex. Globe's capex covers P4.52 billion for mobile, P3.41 billion for common infrastructure, P1.51 billion for broadband, and P322.94 million for its enterprise group. The company announced in October last year that it sold 10.12 million common shares worth nearly 17 billion pesos. The proceeds would be used for prepayment or repayment, repurchase of all or a portion of certain borrowing, including interest, and other liabilities availed by the company for capital expenditures, Globe said. A portion was intended for the company's capital expenditure plans. Globe released its third quarter income in November showing a 38.6% increase to 6.82 pesos billion from 4.92 pesos billion in the same quarter in 2021. Its 9-month income reached 26.5 pesos billion, a 47.6% increase from 17.96 pesos billion a year earlier. Globe Telecom shares closed 1.33% lower at 2,074 pesos apiece on SCC News. Bullish pa rin. Converge sisters buy more Semirara stock despite coal prices cooling down. Converge siblings, Josefa Consuelo Reyes and Cristina Goshenun, snapped up a total of P6.9 million shares of Semirara Mining and Power Corp. SCC. SCC Director Reyes bought 110,000 shares at P34.85 per share on January 12. SCC President and COO Goshenun scooped up 89,000 shares at a price range of 33.75 pesos to 33.80 pesos on January 17. Reyes' stake increased to 9.175 million shares worth P310 million. Goshenun's holdings rose to 23.3 million shares worth P783 million. SCC has slipped by more than 20% after hitting a 5-year high of P44.40 in August 2022 as demand for coal simmered down and supplies improved. SCC booked record profits and declared hefty dividends in 2022 as coal prices more than doubled due to the Ukraine war and supply disruptions. JFC News. Jollibee CEO Otto Tanmantiong and wife Susan unload P217M shares amid strong foreign buying. The brother of ultra-billionario Tony Tan Kakshing received a cash windfall after selling 6% of his holdings in Jollibee Foods Corp. JFC. JFC President and CEO Ernesto Otto Tanmantiong and his wife Susan sold a total of 885,000 shares on January 13 at P245 per share, or just 5.6% short of its 52-week high of P259.60. JFC posted a total of P862.45 million in net foreign buying from January 12 to 17. Tanmantiong's stake shrank to 14.7 million shares worth P3.7 billion. He is currently number 3 biggest shareholder of JFC behind his brothers Tan Kakshing P15.7 billion and William Tan Untiong P3.8 billion. Areit News. Areit sees asset boost after SEC clears P11.2-B swap with Ayala Land. Real estate investment trust Right Pioneer Areit Inc. of the Ayala Group is taking over 6 office buildings in Cebu, boosting its overall asset portfolio by 20% to P64 billion. In a stock exchange filing on Wednesday, Areit said it would acquire the office buildings after the Securities and Exchange Commission approved an P11.23 billion asset swap deal with its sponsor and controlling shareholder, Ayala Land Inc. The deal will increase Areit's leasable assets by 22.6% to 673,000 square meters. In turn, Ayala Land will gain 252.14 million Areit shares at a price of P44.65 per share. As the first Philippine REIT which successfully listed amidst the pandemic, Areit aspires to further grow its leasing portfolio with prime and stable assets, the company said in a stock exchange filing on Wednesday. The swap will be accretive and will potentially increase the overall yield to 5% after the new assets are infused, it added. Areit earlier declared dividends in the third quarter of 2022 amounting to P0.49 per share. The new assets are expected to contribute to earnings of the company in the succeeding periods, it said. The 6 projects, all located within the Cebu IT Park in Cebu City, or E-Block 1, E-Block 2, E-Block 3, E-Block 4, ACC Tower, and Tech Tower 1. The combined projects have an average occupancy rate of about 96%. Areit will apply for the Bureau of Internal Revenue certificate authorizing registration for the new assets and listing the shares in favor of Ali within the first quarter of 2023, Areit said. After the transaction, Ayala Land will own 66% of Areit. The Right company earlier told the stock exchange it planned to expand leasable assets by about 100,000 SQM per year from 2023 through 2025. This would also increase assets under management by about P10-P15 billion annually. Over the 3-year period, it will increase shareholders' returns by 10 to 12% via organic growth and new acquisitions. Targeted total shareholder return of at least 10% will be achieved from 3% to 5% rental escalations from operating assets and additional dividends generated from new assets to be acquired from 2023 to 2025, the company stated its 3-year investment roadmap. Areit earlier said core profit from January to September last year jumped 65% to P2.4 billion while revenues climbed 68% to P3.6 billion. ACEN News: ACEN dumps on news Mermac looking to sell 335M shares. Shares of ACEN 6.84.1%, Link, the Zobel family's renewable energy unit, were down 4.1% to P6.75 in trading yesterday, on news that Mermac Inc. was looking to sell 335 million shares of ACEN at P6.70 share in a private placement. The sale would raise P2.24 billion for Mermac, which is the Zobel family's private holding company, which is owned by the heirs of Jaime Zobel de Ayala and Enrique Zobel. The shares represent 0.8% of ACEN's outstanding shares. MB bottom line, I don't have any insight into what the family is doing here with this sale, but the market didn't wait for that kind of subjective analysis. Operating on the objective facts, it sold ACEN and pushed the price down toward the P6.70 share level that the Zobel family is looking to get for its shares. For those that might be unfamiliar, a private placement is just a share sale that is negotiated and transacted off the PSE grid. It helps the buyer and seller to gain a little price cost certainty. Sure, Mermac could sell the shares on the open PSE market, but the amount that it's looking to sell is about 10 days worth of ACEN volume, and that constant selling pressure might push the average selling price of the 335 million shares down below the P6.70 share level. Mercado Barcada's opinions are provided for informational purposes only, and should not be considered a recommendation to buy or sell any particular stock. These daily articles are not updated with new information, so each investor must do his or her own due diligence before trading, as the facts and figures in each particular article may have changed.